Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Ravens Report. My name is Steven Rio, and this is just going to be covering all things Ravens news, draft, free agency, contract extensions, you name it. Everything you need to know about the Baltimore Ravens you can find right here on this channel. And let's just dive right into it. This has been a pretty eventful week so far. John Harbaugh held a press conference Monday where he gave a lot of updates on players' injuries, free agency approaches, draft, everything. So let's just dive right in. First off, he gave updates on Ronnie Stanley, Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins' injury progression. He said that Dobbins and Edwards are probably going to open the training camp on the PUP list, while Ronnie Stanley's main focus will be getting healthy for the regular season. And this is pretty alarming, in my opinion, more on Ronnie Stanley, because, listen, his injury occurred on November 1st, 2020. It's over 500 days ago. I know it was a bad leg injury, and it's a hard road to come back from, but he's played one game. He played one game last year, 6 games the year before. This is starting to become a concern to me. And his lack of confidence that he would be ready for training camp, maybe even preseason, really is just showing that maybe the progression back isn't exactly going as planned. So I think they should probably end up going into free agency, maybe getting someone like Eric Fisher, who I really view as the only viable option in free agency at this point. Everyone else I've kind of looked into kind of seems like an Alejandro Villanueva sort of situation. I don't want to see Lamar running for his life for a second straight season. But with Dobbins and Edwards, on the other hand, I think that they're going to be ready for the regular season. How ready they will be is a little tough to tell, which is why I believe the Ravens should probably bring back Devontae Freeman. If I could pick one running back to bring back, it would probably be him. Either bring back Freeman or drafting someone. I really do think that's what they should do. And obviously, with Lamar's late season injury, I don't think they're going to be running with him as much to start the year. So I really think bringing in another back that could maybe take the load off of everyone else a little bit could really help, especially in the early going. So it's really, in my opinion, it's a big need for this team. And until they add that, I'm not sure how great this running attack is going to be with 3 players coming off of pretty devastating injuries. And speaking of things that are devastating, the Ravens' situation at center, in my opinion, is pretty gloomy right now, as John Harbaugh said that he feels confident in the in-house options. Yeah, I'm so sure that you're very confident in Pat McCarry. Listen, I got nothing against him, but the last time he played as our center, 2 bad snaps, Lamar got injured, and in my opinion, that was a worse loss than the loss to the Titans in the 2020 divisional round. That was worse, that Bills game. That our offense not even a touchdown, literally. And he was one of the biggest reasons why that offensive performance is so horrible. Horrible blocking, and just to say that he's going to be the starting center next year, I think Ravens fans across are just a little shaky on that. And I'm praying that we either get a center in the draft, maybe sign one late in free agency. But Harbaugh said they're not going to sign someone. They're probably not going to sign someone in free agency. He's doubtful about it. So, prayers that we get Tyler Linderbaum or something, because I really don't want to see Pat McCarry at center going into the season. I really want our offensive line to be a strength, and I'm not sure if he offers that. And speaking of ways of improvement, the Ravens are talking with Bobby Wagner, apparently. That's been known for a little bit now, but said by John Harbaugh kind of authenticates those rumors a bit more. And, please sign him. I think him and Patrick Queen would complement each other's games so well, especially with Wagner's veteran leadership. I think he could be a great mentor for players like Tyus Bowser, Malik Harrison, Queen, as I just mentioned, especially Odafe Oweh. Please, that'd be so amazing. He's apparently seeking 1 year, $11 million. Just praying. I'm just praying. Just give him 12.5 just to be safe. He's a great player. He would solidify our linebacking core. And if we add him, I'm not sure on our defense where that weakness truly is. But that's a great addition. That's such a Ravens signing, and I would be very disappointed if they don't go out and get him. Speaking of veteran players in free agency, John Harbaugh said that Eric DeCosta and Calais Campbell have been going back and forth about him re-signing with the team, and I'm a firm supporter of this. Our run defense was phenomenal last year. I don't see there being any reason why we should let him walk. I bet he's going to be relatively cheaper. It's been a while, and if he was going to get a big payday, it would have already happened. So I think he could probably come back on a more team-friendly deal. and I know everyone's concerned that we don't have too much cap room. If we simply just trade and cut both Ben Powers and Miles Boykin, we'd save over $5 million. Like, that's just a no-brainer. If you're telling me that that's what we have to do to re-sign Calais Campbell, I'm all for it. And speaking, same on defense, John Harbaugh has commented looking into the draft for edge rushers and in free agency. He said they're going to improve in whatever way they can. He mentioned Justin Houston as a possible re-signing option, which I'd be pretty supportive of for the right price. But personally, I believe they should go younger at the position. I think this draft is loaded with great young edge rushers that we could get in around the third round, second round, even first. There's edge rushers across the board everywhere. And I really do think that we should double down at this position. Just like we doubled down at tight end 2018, worked out. We got Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews. Hurst didn't turn out so well, yeah, but Mark Andrews, that's a pretty damn good pick if you ask me. Wide receiver in 2019, we got Hollywood Brown in the first, Miles Boykin in the third. Boykin, I just suggested we should cut him. So that kind of shows you how great it's working out. But Hollywood Brown's coming off the best year of his career. When Lamar was playing, he was on pace to do even better. So I really am hopeful, and especially with a linebacker in 2020, with Malik Harrison and Patrick Queen. Two great picks, in my opinion. I know Harrison hasn't exactly lived up to the expectations that some fans have had for him, but he's solid. He's been playing solid, and I do think that there's a lot of room for improvement. I'm hoping we could see that from him next year, and especially with Queen too. Queen had a great second half of the season, and I'm just hopeful about that. So I think the Ravens' history of doubling down on positions in the first and also around the third, second, maybe fourth rounds, I love that. I love that. They're going to go. I think they're just going to double dip in whatever position they get because they really want to get depth. That's a big part of this team, being deep at multiple positions. So I do think that in the possibility of them trading down, it would be with a wide receiver hungry team, someone like the Packers or the Saints, where it's go time for them. They literally only have, the Packers, they don't even have one good wide receiver. The Saints have Michael Thomas, but the Packers have no one. So we could probably get some pretty good draft capital out of all that. So I'm looking forward to it. But in terms of draft strategy, I believe that there are two very viable options that the Ravens could really go with. Option A, if we get the opportunity to trade up for a young top corner in this class, and I say corner specifically, they need to get on it because we have two of our starters are coming off of season-ending injuries. We lost Anthony Averett. He signed with the Raiders. Cut Tavon Young. So who's our corner three right now? We really just need some solid. And they're also, Peters is getting older, last year of his contract. Humphreys is going to be expensive for the next, 4 years or so? I think getting a younger, cheaper player at that position is going to end up paying dividends in the long run. And this is probably going to be the highest draft pick we have for the foreseeable future. When's the last time the Ravens have picked in the top 15 of a draft? I think it was Ronnie Stanley in 2016 when they picked him. And he's been phenomenal, except for when he gets injured. But I do think that possible teams we could trade up with in the draft would include Atlanta, Seattle, or the Washington Commanders. And like I said before, I think we should take two defensive backs with our first four picks in the draft. If we get two, even if it's a safety in a corner, I really would love it with just two corners straight up. But I think establishing depth and youth at those positions is really going to help this team going forward, especially with a lot of aging players. I love Chuck Clark, but I'm pretty sure he's just either got 1 or 2 years left on his deal too. And I just think that I know we have Brandon Stevens too. He's amazing, and I really loved how he played in the second half of the season. But I think getting more young players, it can't hurt whatsoever. We could use other picks in the draft in this trade-up scenario. We could get interior defensive line help, really anyone on the O-line, any position, I'll take it. And also, usually edge. That's another big Ravens need. But I like option A. If they were to do anything, I'd love it to be option A. But I believe there's option B, where they trade back or they stay at 14, which I doubt if they stay at 14, I'd be shocked. I would be shocked. They have the most picks of any team within the first 4 rounds. They're going to move. And whether it's back, whether it's forward, they're not staying at 14, in my opinion. So I think if they trade back, they're going to end up taking an edge or an offensive lineman that they really like, which, again, I'm a full supporter of because you're just going to get more draft capital. You're going to get more solid players, and that's really what this team needs, depth. and at this point we're lacking depth a little bit across multiple positions, mostly corner, offensive line. We're not extremely deep at this point. So I really do think that trading back could be very beneficial too. I like being aggressive and trading up, but also trading back is not just as a viable option to me. So I do think that if they do trade back, edge and offensive line like tackle, guard would be the pick, depending on how far they trade back, that is. But I don't view them trading past 25. I would be. They're not going to trade that far down because they know they need a viable first round player. Like they need that on that roster right now. So hey, but if you want to see the players that I'm gonna mock to the Ravens in these given scenarios, tune in next time to the Ravens Report. Well, I will be going over my official 2022 NFL mock draft. I'm Steven Rio. It's been a pleasure, and looking forward to the next time I see you all on the Ravens Report.